Hi, it's Sam here from SampleLibraryReview.com, and I'm very happy today to be taking you through their latest release from Keepforest, which equips you with enough firepower to keep up with even the most powerful superheroes in your scoring. Evolution Devastator Warzone features an expanse of really up-to-date and on-trend collection of hits, drums, pulses, signature sounds, percussive guns, basses, shout-outs, screams, and a whole lot more besides. Now, it seems Keepforest are on a bit of a mission to totally take over cinematic sound design of late, such as the popularity of their intense sample packs and the frequency with which they release them. They've got a few different product lines and a few one-offs, but the Evolution series has been their bread and butter since day one, and it sees its most recent incarnation in the shape of Evolution Devastator Warzone. Now, this covers the same kind of crazy trailer sounds as the two previous Devastator packs, but with a bit more focus on drum kits, 808s, weapon foley, and some signature vocal samples. As is typical of Keepforest, there is a vast amount and variety of stuff on offer, all presented in both a tidy GUI for Contact and in WAV format to suit either workflow. Devastator Warzone consists of 7GB of compressed samples at 48K 24-bit resolution. There are 6 categories of sounds with a total of 69 patches. It features a drum machine, step sequencer, effects rack and snapshots. It works with the free Contact 6 player and also comes with an additional WAV folder containing some of the samples in the raw format plus some artist stems, and it normally sells for $199. This library comes as a Contact player, so it appears very nicely here in your collection of libraries. There are 6 different categories in Devastator Warzone, and I counted about 69 different patches, so there's plenty of content to go through. I won't be playing every single thing from every single patch, but I'll give you a good broad overview of what the library has to offer. In the hits, we have a whole bunch of NKIs in there. I have to say it's all really neatly categorized, so it doesn't ever feel overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff here, but it's really well laid out. So it's easy to find what you want and then to put it in the template if you work that way. Now, the pulse designer here with the user import is something we'll come back to later. We'll start off though with the trailer drums, and whenever it says RR afterwards, it just means round robin, avoiding that machine gun effect. I'll play a little bit of some of the drums and then we'll have a look at the interface, which all of the patches share with minor differences depending on exactly what type of instrument you're playing. So we've got that big, slightly mid-scooped Keepforest sound that, from experience, I know layers really well with other stuff and really stands out in a big, complex, hybrid type of cue, which this is designed for. Now, the interface has quite a few things on it, nicely laid out, I have to say. We've got the reverb here, which you may think, oh, why have we got half the page on the reverb? But it does play quite a big bit because we have a whole bunch of really cool IRs, which are all custom. To the right-hand side, we've got the envelope here. And if I change it as well, look at that. Hey, the little cyborg thing, he moves and has a look. Nice touch. And the same here. You guessed it, he's having a look. Just keep an eye on things, making sure you're making the right settings and all that. Below the robot thingy, whatever it is, alien, is your round robins. All these little boxes are different hits. If you don't like some of the round robins, or you simply want it to be a bit more robotic and machine gun-like, you can just get rid of them and then bring them back on. Each hit has a different number of round robins, it just depends. So there's loads there, a bit less there, but you know, anything past 4 or 5 is going to give you a really realistic sound. We've got a filter here, which can be high pass or low pass. Effects, which we'll go into in a second. We're in the main tab, and we have a rhythm section as well. The velocity sensitivity is there, and it's easy to get to. Now, the envelope has a hold as well as a traditional ADSR. And if we flick here, we go to the rhythm section. Really nicely laid out, but complex as well if you need it to be. Now, we've got a step sequencer here. I need to highlight this for it to work. That's just really cool. And all your presets are in here. So you start from there with your basic sort of 8ths and the 16ths, the triplet options, there's action stuff. Then you go on to cinematic, tick-tock progressions and trailer drums. I'll click on the trailer drums to see what happens. Real nice. Now, we have boxes for the filter as well. This won't sound great, but it gives you an idea what happens. So you can kind of ramp up if you kind of want to. If you started from there. You get the idea. Same for pitch and same for pan if you want to get fancy with that sort of thing. And then simply click off it. It should work. There we go. We can copy the table onto other ones, which is nice. We've got the steps here, the frequency, which is your quarter notes, your 8ths, what time division you want. Tempo as well, which enables you to quickly double it or take it right down to actually a quarter. I think you can probably, timed it by 4 as well, which is handy if you're trying a few different options out. And velocity sensitivity, which is really important for these types of things. So let's just try another trailer drums. So for that one, we need it, pretty much full whack so we get the vibe of the groove. That's about it. That really play all. We've got, art stuff. This is what it's on. Then we can also go into chords, which we'll have a look later if we get a chance. It's kind of complex, but it works quite nicely. Okay, back to the main. And we've got an effects here. So simply plus, and you can bring up whatever you want. Dirty. Reverbs. Huge. I've got all these options as well. Nicely laid out. I like the colours and all that. Really cool. And there's a whole bunch of presets as well. So I'm not sure how well these would work. Pretty hardcore. Hybrid chain 2. It's powerful, for sure. You can save and load your presets as well. And you just click on the preset there to get all the parameters for it, for some deep manipulation. And that's about it in terms of how it's all laid out. Quite simple, but effective. Now, let's have a look at a few more things. We've got trailer hits. Let's bring them in. Big sounding. Some of them have a whoosh, some of them don't, but if they have a whoosh and you don't want it, on that one, for example, you can go from hit. And they're going neatly. Trims it for you. Now you've got control of the volume. This is per sample, you've got control of the. So I want to shorten that down so it doesn't have as much tail. Simple as drawing it in. Same for pan, LFO cut off. Then we can reset all as well. That's a nice feature, that. And that's per hit. The only thing that you may find difficult to work with is the envelope. Now the envelope is per hit, and it would have been nice to have a global option. I don't know if there is. I've had a look. I can't really find where the global option is for that. So we could hit a global and we could have one envelope controlling all your hits. It can be a nice feature. Hopefully there might be an add in at a later stage. Trailer hits 2. More of the same. Space hits, right. These are great. All the sound designers out there that are making stuff, they always go for like big, heavy, complex, huge sounds. Now, these are really useful though, because you don't always want that, especially if you're making a trailer, the end of the trailer where you want a softer sound, but you still want some impact, and also the beginning can work well, so. They're brilliant. I have to say with this library, there is a real good blend of workhorse stuff, such as that, which is just, you can quickly audition a few sounds and you get it quite easy. And also some really good, cool signature stuff, which we'll come on to later. Got a good blend of all that kind of thing. And we'll have a quick look at booms. Might as well do the whole of the hits. Beautiful, epic sounding booms. Okay, have a look at the drums. Now the drums loads up with different interface in some ways, really. I mean, we've still got the effects, right? That's still the same. The main's still there. The rhythm is still there as well. The rhythm probably what you use for this because you're kind of just hitting keys. There's a drum machine kind of vibe, MPC style. Neat. And there's loads. There really is loads of drums. All really hard and heavy and powerful. Perfect for action scoring, for trailers, computer game type of thing as well. Work for that. Modern hip hop. You can also choose what categories you'd like to look in as well, and also pick random. It'll just pick a random kit if you're stuck about what to choose. if we go to settings, this is where you can edit the drums. It's not quite as neat as I've seen other ways of doing this. So you kind of need to go to this page and then you need to click on each different thing to change the volume of it, for example. Actually, the percussion one a bit lower or something like that. But each one of these drums does have individual volume, pan, tune, filter, and a sample start as well. There's a choke too, so you can assign that to different groups. And in that way, one hit will cut off the other hit. Good for cymbals if you kind of want something to come in, and also like open hats when you kind of want that open hat to shut up shop a bit quicker. You can change your sounds by searching here. So you've got all the categories across the top. The font's a little small, so you might be squinting a little, but all your snares are there, toms are there, etc. And say we've got this snare here, we don't like that. We like that one. Just double click, and there we are, it's in the box. And you can also scroll along there by hitting these little arrows. So there's multiple ways of finding the sounds that you want. I've also got transient shaper here and an envelope. And that's your drums. The hybrid kits. Recharges, all these little machine effects. I love all that stuff. Hybrid pop. So if you don't like that sound, simply scroll along using the arrows and you can find one that you do like. And clicking them will also audition them. And again, look at that. Just got loads of different kits in there. Of course, you can customize it however you want as well. Rhythm page and the effects, just the same. Drums. So these are all round robins. Good to layer once you've got a kind of kit sound or something. You just go, you know, I need a snare to kind of layer over the top of it. Well, you come to the right place, and it's going to be round robin, giving it a bit of a natural feel as well. These keys down here, these are all pitch key switches. But it is global, so it's not per key, and that's the only other thing that I would have liked to have seen is some sort of control of the sounds. The pitch of each individual sound would be really neat. But it's a small grumble, really. Guns. Good for Foley kind of programming, you know, if you, especially for adverts and trailers, having them types of Foley sounds, a percussion aspect, it's quite popular at the moment. It's very on trend, this library, I have to say. All the sounds are bang up to date. And it's a bit of a move away from that epic hybrid type of sound to include some trap, hip-hop, pop influences as well, and a little bit of rock even as well. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'll just play a few different bits to give you an idea about what's on offer. Massive claps. Metals. I mean, look at all the samples you get. It's crazy. There's so much stuff here. Brilliant. But well organised, like I said, so you can find what you want. They're your short, super short, pingy trap hats. Guns and recharges. I was going to be making music with gun percussion from now on. Modern drum fills. These are pretty cool. Especially for a shorter time. There's a lot of this stuff is good. It's easy to program stuff as well. You're really quick using the rhythm thing, but there's some really handy little sounds for deadline crunches. And a few loops as well. So you can kind of make your own loop up there by combining all the different bits. Oh, that's nice. I like that. I'm not a big fan of using loops, but I like them when you can kind of make them your own and they're all cut up and you can reformulate them. Bass. Well, it wouldn't really be a sound design library without a few Brahms. They're good if you're doing kind of cinematic trap stuff. A lot of that has these kind of distorted, reverby blasts of brass, fundamental basses. Fat sounding. This is a good point to show you the stretch mode as well. So the last key you pressed, that'll then be your bass sound, which is then played across the keys. I find this method is probably the best and quickest way of auditioning stuff. So you can go here and find find the sound you want. So like that, kind of farty bass sound, stretch it. And then we've got it, we can play a bass line and keep it all nicely in tune. Marvellous. Bass pulses. Oh, that's great, they got them round robins. Oh, it's using the rhythm, that's cool. We're going to up the tempo there a little. This is where that global envelope will really come in, you see, because I've kind of got this nice shortened version there. But any other key, go back to the other envelope. So then it becomes hard to compare them like for like. But that's great. I love this round robin thing. It does give a natural feel to that bass pulse. Because often you don't need to be playing the type of scoring that you often do with these types of sounds. It's more creating an atmosphere. So you might just be on that one note for quite a long time. So having something that just subtly moves is great. Let's have a look at some of these while we're here. I took it off then and it definitely changed the sound massively. So they're ready. They're all convolution reverbs, so that's how wet it is. Noise tails. It's almost not like reverb, it's kind of really part of the sound. It's changing the sound quite a lot. Room hit. Good if there's some arrows on there to scroll, actually. I'm pretty lazy and I'm picky. No, and these are so interesting. Look at this. I love this stuff. Hills, creek. Hollywood Hall. Oh, massive. Valley Canyon. Play for ages on this. And there's, look, all the parameters there straight away. So reverb is quite a big deal in this library, I think, you know. A lot of the patches come with it on, and if not, there's enough there to really get what you want. All a little bit different than having the regular stuff that a lot of developers might use when they make the contact instruments. It's always nice for the custom IRs. Right. Okay, we are going to go through them all. Believe me, it's fine. I'm skipping there. Here we go. So, modern 808s. So 808s played as a bass, as if it was a bass instrument really, rather than an 808 kick. No, let's go back, stretch that. nice that there's a few variations on a theme there. So they are all different, but some are a little bit more similar to others, which is handy if you're using a track and you want to maybe have a down at another point in it, but you want it to be slightly different from the first one. Gives you the option there. Now these were really interesting when I was messing around with it earlier. Great them, I really like them. Tempo synced as well. Okay. Tonal FX. These are really good to kind of scatter into your track as a real standout moment. These make really good use of the reverb as well, actually. Let's try one of these noise tails. I think there's probably some effects on them as well. You've got the delay on. Using the new replica delay that was added in Contact 6. So we've got these lovely different types of delay. Really quite unique sounding. My only slight grumble is they're really all quite distorted. Sometimes it's nice to have something a bit cleaner. See what happens as we go on. I think they're all similar to that in tonality. So these already have the delay in the raw sample. We can always add a bit more, which I think they've done. Yeah. Nice. Woes. These are really so useful, and I haven't seen anyone that's really deep sampled them as well and as in depth as Keepforest have here. Signatures. Others. Amount and variance of the sounds in this whole library is absolutely astounding. It's immense value for money, if you ask me. Some nasty stuff there. Signals ambient. All this stuff is pretty wet. I know that's just the ambient one, but all the others have quite a lot of stuff on them as well. It's a very processed library. So if you're looking for something that has just raw sounds that you can then process, you know, this might not be exactly what you're looking for. Though you can do a whole lot more, as we've seen with the effects and the different, you know, parameters here of extra things you can do. But a lot of the sound of the samples is baked in. really handy reverse effects. Oh, it's coming. And some rises as well. What's cool here is you can get a sample start. Just get a hold of it. So if you want to get to the climax of it a little bit sooner, you can do. Again, this would be a point where it'd be nice if we had some sort of global control of that. A lot of these risers I found, you could take a section of them, so you might not want to build right to the end. You might just want to go for here because they're kind of quite smooth in terms of what they're doing. Now that might be enough for your riser, and as you get to a climax of something later on in your track, you might want to be using that part of it, and it makes it really easy to do. A couple more things to go through. Pulses. This thump pulse is great. Tiny bit of tonality to it, but it's really quite percussive. You could probably layer it with some of these other pulses to get a bit of pumpiness to them. Quite filtered off. A lot of these could be inspirations for starting a tune. Brilliantly done. And the last one's Playables. So these are already kind of stretched for you, and also you can have it as polyphonic mono or with some glide as well. And you select the different types of sound from there. There's the ability to also choose your bass sound from the snapshot menu. So by doing that, it's just the same as selecting it from there. And there's a button here called the sample start menu, or rather a slider. As I move that across, you can see here from the playback cursor, it changes where the sample starts. As I move further to this side, it becomes a bit more erratic in terms of how randomized it is. And pull it that way, it's a little bit more subtle, shall I say. What's clever about this is for sounds like this, which you might want to just play on one note, it does give a variety of sample start that gives the illusion of a round robin. If I take it back right here, got that. We're obviously going to lose the attack there, but it's very much just the same sound again and again. As we move it here, very slightly different. And it works quite well with sounds like 808s and basses especially, which have a similarity in their sustain. I think it works really nicely. Dead clever. It's per sound, so you have to change it for each sound. A neat little feature, and a very welcome one at that. Modern bass. Cinematic, big, and interesting. Modern plucks. Oh yeah. Just seize the reverb. That's already on it. Very useful. Aggressive sounding as well. Most stuff in this library is super aggressive. That's great. Gotta love that. Heavy stuff. So we've been through all of them, apart from the effects here. Whoa. So the plucks with a bit of pitch modulation and maybe a few other things as well. Now let's go back to where we started many moons ago on the Pulse Designer. This is something I think people have been requesting, and Keepforest have kindly obliged. Now, if we go to files, you'll see, and oh, it's worth showing you this as well actually. So it comes with a WAV folder as well, with loads of different stuff in there. You've got your drum kits, all kind of replicated in a WAV format, if you like to work that way. Probably not so handy for the drum kits and stuff, but for one shots on that, it's pretty handy. And we've got the MIDI from some of the patterns there. Oh, that won't appear in contact, obviously, but it's there, trust me. Stems is where we've got some demo tracks. Now, I'm not sure what the point of these is exactly, because I'm pretty sure you won't be able to use these and then kind of rearrange them and cut them up and then use that as a track. One, it'd just be kind of boring because someone else is doing it for you. And secondly, there might be copyright issues. I'm not sure. I imagine these are just demonstrations of what the library can do. Thing, and then that one is also then divided up into all the different things. It's quite a good learning tool, I think. You can find the track that you like and then, load all them stems in and see how these types of tracks are made. So if anyone knows exactly what the stems thing is best used for, pray tell. I'm not the kind of construction kit kind of guy, so don't appeal so much. Right, let's get back to this pulse designer. We're going to start off using the sample I've got loaded in, which is that one as an example. And the snapshots here come into play very nicely. We can use this one to give some rhythm to it. Automatically goes into stretch mode. A really nice combination of sequencer and effects to get that lovely syncopated kind of delay. We can go granular as well. Really interesting pad sounds. That was easy enough to just go. I'm using their library, of course, but any sound would do. Signals, let's go into classic. Find something I like that kind of guitar stringy type thing with massive amounts of reverb. So if I pull this in here and then replace that sample that I had before, we're now using that as the source. And it's as simple as that. I'm going to start from scratch. One slight issue I have is that there's no init snapshot to quickly go back to the original setting. So the quickest way, really, rather than go and reset everything, is just load and unload it. Then we're back to normal again. Now let's take this same sample and let's plug it in there, and we're going to add new this time. So it comes up there on the D key next to the parent sample there, and let's try that and get that in, add new there. So we've got them 3 notes there. The one little thing that would be good is individual volume control for the keys. Now, obviously, you can control it by velocity, but you see there that that E is like super, super loud. There's no easy way of doing it apart from kind of going and doing that. Anyway, let's drag that down, make it a bit more. Okay, so we want a bit less release on there. The same as that. Let's go mountains distant. Actually, a bit too distant that. Let's try a room here actually. Okay, so once you've got your sounds there, it's easy enough to start playing with the rhythm. So let's go basic 8th. I'm going to tempo down a bit. There, you got your rhythm, and all these to start off with can then be added We'll put another couple of beats in there. Let's actually get some more steps up. Let's get it to 8. Let's do that. So pretty random what I'm doing. And the 6 there. Really quick to draw in this way. Let's go there. Okay, so we've got a cool little rhythm going there. Now, if we go to, this is what I mentioned right at the start, I would hopefully come back to. We can play kind of chord patterns that will, well, it's easier for me to show you than to explain. Across the top here is 8 different dashes, and each one of those corresponds to the keys that you're playing. Okay? So we've got C, D, and E playing there. Nothing's coming out at the moment because I haven't got any of these selected. So if I select 1, it's going to play 1 on this section here. If I press 2 there, it depends where the keys are, starting from low to high, right? So if I play D, that then becomes 1, basically. If I play C, that becomes 1. But if I play all 3, we're going to have C is 1, D is 2, and E is 3. So we're going to put 3 there. I'm going to go back to 1, 1, 2. 3 didn't work great for that, so we're going to go 2 there, and then 3 at the end. So you get that effect. It's really quite cool. I mean, that's not the best loop in the world, but you know, with a bit of fiddling and playing and choosing just the right samples. You can get something really quite interesting, and it just shows the sheer power of this engine, you know. And we can start to add ping pong delay died here. And then maybe mix delay. Let's have saturation here. Pretty gnarly kind of sound, but you know, it's a lot of fun, and you can do a lot of stuff with this. Now it's worth quickly going, before we finish, back to where we started. The trailer drums, just to show you these snapshots here. Now this is a really easy way of making them more punchy by going to punch mode. And it automatically puts a new envelope in there to make them punchy. And we've got tail as well. Tasty and transit mode. If you just want that clickiness to add some sort of punch to some drums that you've already got. So I think we've been through just about everything. Really useful tool, super fun to play with, and excellent results. This hugely impressive library will be of great interest to soundtrack and trailer composers alike, and also for sound designers working on computer games and films. The sheer amount on offer represents really great value for money in my opinion, and even better if you've got the patience to wait a bit for a sale. There's a really good blend of useful workhorse tools alongside some really unique signature sounds. And aside from a few minor criticisms, the interface is very good and a marked improvement on previously mind-boggling stuff they had for ISA-X. As is to be expected for Keepforest, everything is pretty much heavily processed before you hit any contact effects. And mostly this really works for the genre, though the Tonal FX could have used a few cleaner and less distorted options. You could feasibly produce entire tracks using only this library, making it very powerful in combination. But there are some individual standouts too. The ability to import your own samples into the engine is a really welcome move. There are some really interesting custom impulse responses, and certain sounds such as the guns, playable 808s and vocal signature sounds have rarely been this deeply sampled. If you're on the lookout for an all-in-one hybrid sound design package with bang-up-to-date sonic aesthetics, then Evolution Devastator Warzone should be high on your list. Even for seasoned pros, there is enough fresh material here, coupled with the ability to work with it extremely quickly in the interface, for it to be a worthy addition to your existing sample library collection. Hit the subscribe button below if you want to be kept up to date with more reviews like this, and comment below because we'd love to hear what you think of the library as well. Be sure to visit samplelibraryreview.com for even more reviews, product announcements, and the weekly deal compressor.